Welcome back. All right, 9 games to review for tonight, and then we'll take a look at the standings. Things are changing quickly as we're into the second month of the season and all that. But we'll go ahead. We'll start things off with the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Boston Bruins. Stolars versus Swayman. And at 4:27, early in the first period, Boston gets on the board. Zacha scores from Pastrnak and McAvoy. Then Boston goes back to the power play not too long after, and this time Toronto makes him pay. Lorentz gets a shorthanded marker at 6:41. Then it becomes 12 seconds of 5-on-3 for Boston. So special teams, very prominent in the first period. The Bruins don't score during that brief 5-on-3, but they do score during the 5-on-4 on the other side of it. It's Hampus Lindholm firing one past a screen over Stolar's shoulder. Lowry and Asimont with the assists at 9:32. Then there's a delay for an issue with the glass in the arena. And at 17:23, Boston makes it 3-0. Former Leaf Steves with a wrister from the left circle. Hampus Lindholm with the assist. It's 3-1 in favor of Boston after one. Second period, 49 seconds in. Hildeby's in net now, so Stolars did not come out for the second period. No word that I've seen yet on what his condition is, but Pastrnak deeks around Hildeby on a breakaway. Geeky and McAvoy with the assist. So welcome to the game, Hildeby. That's goal number 400 in the career of David Pastrnak. So he has feasted on the Toronto Maple Leafs over the years, and he makes it 4-1 there. Matthews exits. He took a hit from Zadorov, which threw him into the boards, and it looked like a shoulder. We'll see. But not a great night for Toronto when it comes to injuries. If Stolars and Matthews are both hurt, it's not great. We get a 48-second 5-on-3 for Toronto, and they score during the 5-on-4. So at 18:58, it's McMahon with a power play goal from Domi and Riley. It is 4-2 after the second period of play. Third period, 3:52 in, Toronto makes it a one-goal game. Ekman Larsson with a shot past a screen from the point. Robertson and Nylander with the assists. It's 4-3. However, Boston would get a power play, and they score on this one. At 9:48, Pastrnak roofs a rebound after Toronto had failed to clear it. The assist to Kastelik and Jeannot. Everything gets pushy with 7:46 left. We end up with 2 minutes of 4-on-4 as a result. Toronto pulls the goaltender with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left, and they had opportunities, just couldn't solve Swayman late. Final score is 5-3 for Boston. 3 stars are Pastrnak, Hampus Lindholm, and McAvoy. Shots on net, 11-6 Boston in the first, 15-11 Toronto in the second, 12-10 Toronto in the third. Final shots 33-32 for Toronto. Power plays 1 for 5 for Toronto, 3 for 6 for Boston. The hits 30-20 for Toronto. Stolar saves 8 out of 11. Hildeby in relief, 19 saves on 21 shots. Continues to be good in relief. But now you want Wool back there, don't you? Swayman, 30 saves on 33 shots in the victory, and Boston keeps rolling, and Toronto is down near the bottom of the East, and we'll discuss that when we get to it. All right, next up, LA and Montreal. Kemper versus Montembeault. We had 1 minute and 8 seconds of a 5-on-3 for the Habs. Caulfield couldn't hit the open net. It ends up being killed off. However, at 19:16, last minute of the period, Anderson buries one on a rush. This is Josh Anderson for Montreal. Hudson and Evans with the assists. It's 1-0 Montreal after one. Second period, LA, 1 minute and 16 seconds in. It's a point shot on a face-off win. Edmondson with the goal from Clark and Kopitar. And then at 4:15, during a delayed penalty call, Byfield roofs one from the side of the net. Edmondson and Kempe with the assists. It's a 2-1 lead for the Kings, their first lead of the game. And then at 5:21, a little over a minute later, Fiala roofs a rebound that Montembeault needed to hold there. He really needed to hold that. Fiala scores this one from Laferriere and Byfield. Basically, he should have held the original shot rather than directing it over to Fiala, who buries it. It's 3-1 LA, and that lead would hold until the end of the second period. Third period, the referee's informed that he sucks at 9 minutes, because how else would he know? I only write it on the board when I hear it during games. I'm sure other games you hear, ref, you suck a lot. Then at 11:08, Armia, beautiful steal. Just catches the defenseman looking the wrong way, and Armia steals the puck and scores. So makes it 4-1. And then at 15:31, Fogle puts an exclamation mark on this with a goal of his own. Dano with the assist. 5-1 win for the LA Kings. Probably the most impressive win for the Kings all season. Your 3 stars are Byfield, Kopitar, and Armia. The Kings are back to being an excellent road team. Shots on net, 12-9 LA in the first, 7 apiece in the second, 7-6 LA in the third. Final shots 26-22 for the Kings. Both teams go 0 for 3 on the power play. The hits 21-10 for Montreal. Kemper, 21 saves on 22 shots for Montembeault, 21 saves on 25 shots. So, yeah, it was a rough night for Montreal, and in the end, I think that Fogle one's an empty netter. But either way, yeah, 5-1, and LA with a pretty big win tonight. All right, moving along. The Dallas Stars and the Ottawa Senators, Ottinger versus Ullmark. Ottawa wearing their nice red thirds. I do appreciate those. At 49 seconds, Ottawa scores. Batherson roofs one from the left circle on what was the first shot. Sanderson with the assist. And as a Dallas fan, I was like, come on, guys, start on time. Then at 8:53, it becomes 2-0. Jensen wires one from the inner slot. Amadio and Giroux with the assist. So Amadio's goal-scoring streak ends tonight, but he does get a point to keep his point streak alive. It was a fast first 20 minutes. I thought the Sens controlled it really well. They doubled up Dallas in terms of shots, and it looked like this game could be kind of a quiet one for Dallas. In fact, in the second period, halfway through that period, there were 8 shots for Dallas in total in 30 minutes. So they did a very good job of controlling Dallas. The Sens are doubling the Stars in shots. They're also doubling Dallas in offensive zone time. However, at 16:22, Rantanen buries one from the slot on a breakaway. Jason Robertson with the assist. It's a 2-1 lead. That's your lead after 2. Third period, Chabot. He had left after the first with an upper body injury. He did not return to the game, so that leaves Ottawa with 5 defensemen. We'll see what the status is for him tomorrow. Then at 8 minutes, on a power play, it's bar down from a distance. Robertson with the goal from Rantanen and Heiskanen, and the shots evened up nicely during that third period as Dallas really controlled things. We end up getting to overtime in part because of Ullmark having a pretty strong third period outside of that goal. So in the overtime, there's a post for Stützle on a rush. The fans call when the referee doesn't. Pinto blocks a goal, and then with Ullmark down and on this same play, Hintz ends up burying one. He roofs it at 3:03. Robertson and Heiskanen with the assists. So Pinto tries his best, but it's a 3-2 overtime win for Dallas. Your 3 stars are Robertson, Ottinger, and Ullmark. Shots on net, 12-6 Ottawa in the first, 9-7 Ottawa in the second, 16-6 Dallas in the third, and 4-2 Dallas in the overtime. Final shots, 33-29 for Dallas. It took them a while to wake up, but when they did, they were quite good. Power plays, Dallas 1 for 3, Ottawa 0 for 2. The hits, 24-15 for Dallas. Ottinger saves 27 out of 29. Ullmark saves 30 out of 33. All right, moving along. The Washington Capitals and the Carolina Hurricanes. Thompson versus Anderson, and 5:42 in, Washington scores. Duhaime buries one from the side of the net. Frank and Dowd with the assists. Everybody starts punching with 5 minutes left. The Canes emerge from that with a power play, so sure, why not? And it was standing room in the Capitals penalty box too. So quite the penalty parade. We ended up with 10 total power plays tonight, so there was a lot of that. But it's 1-0 Washington after the first. Second period, 5:59 in. Strome makes it 2-0. He goes glove side on a fast break. Ovechkin and Karlsson with the assists. That two-goal lead lasts until 13:56. Ehlers buries a rebound on a rush, so he continues with what's been a good goal-scoring pace recently. The assist to Blake and Gostisbehere. So it's 2-1 in favor of Washington. That would remain the score after 2 periods. Third period, it is a power play marker for the Capitals. Chychrun buries one in close after a face-off win. The assist to Leonard and Karlsson at 5:46, so Washington has their 2-goal lead back at 3-1. Freddie Anderson gets shaken up with 5 minutes and 10 seconds left. You always get scared of that because Anderson does have a long injury history, right? The Canes pull the goaltender for a 6-on-4 during a power play. The Caps do kill that off, and then at 19:29, Ovechkin hits the empty net. The assist to Beauvillier, and that makes the final score 4-1 in favor of the Capitals. Your 3 stars are Thompson, Karlsson, and Ehlers. So Nick Ehlers and the 3 stars there. Shots on net, 10-7 Washington in the first, 14-8 Carolina in the second, 10 apiece in the third. Final shots 31-28 for Carolina. Power plays, 1 for 5 for Washington, 0 for 5 for Carolina. Carolina's power play woes are back. The hits, 22-13 for Carolina. Thompson saves 30 out of 31. Anderson saved 24 out of 27 at the other end. All right, Next up, Calgary and St. Louis. Wolf versus Binnington, and it stays scoreless until 10:59, where St. Louis opens the scoring. It's a power play marker. It's a point shot that Holloway deflects in. The assist to Falk and Suter. So Pius Suter on the board, and then a little while later at 13:43, so almost 3 minutes later, Kessel wires one far corner on a rush, and Sundqvist with the assist. So Sundqvist was better in this game than he was in their last game, and it's 2-0 St. Louis. That remains your score after one. Second period at 7:19, Walker puts a rebound into an open net, so Wolf was out of position, and he pays as Walker scores from Toropchenko and Sundqvist. Sundqvist with the second helper, and it makes it 3-0 in favor of St. Louis. The dislikes ramping up during this period. Flames kind of fire themselves up, which Flames will do that. And then, and I didn't mean to say it, but I did, so we'll just go with it. At 14:04, Coronado buries one from a distance on a rush. I think that's one that Binnington would want back. Pahal with the assist. And then 23 seconds later, it's a point shot top shelf. Rasmus Anderson gets this one from Backlund. So that's where the Blues call a timeout. Whatever they talked about works because it remains 3-2 after 2 periods of play. So we go to the third period. The Blues score. It's waved off for goalie interference. I thought they might challenge. I thought they'd consider it. They did not challenge it. You don't want to be killing a penalty when you're up one in the third period. The goalie pull happens with 1:45 seconds left. The Flames call a timeout with 1:18 left. Whatever they talked about does not work out for them. 3-2 is your final in favor of St. Louis. Your 3 stars are Binnington, Walker, and Sundqvist. Shots on net, 14-10 St. Louis in the first, 14-10 Calgary in the second, 16-7 Calgary in the third. Final shots, 40-31 for the Flames. Power plays 0 for 1 for Calgary, 1 for 2 for St. Louis. The hits 25-15 in favor of St. Louis. Wolf saves 28 out of 31. Binnington, nice bounce back game for him. 38 saves on 40 shots as he becomes the games played leader for the St. Louis Blues tonight. All right, that last game on this board is San Jose and Minnesota. So here we go. Nedeljkovic versus Gustafsson. They had a nice ceremony before the game for Johansson, his 1,000th game. There was 1 shot for San Jose in the first half. There was 6 for the Wild. The better second half for San Jose. We don't come out of this with any goals, but definitely a better second half. In the second period, 5:02 in, it's Minnesota opening the scoring on the power play. Boldy roofs one from the right circle. Zuccarello and Buium with the assists. Askarov is the only reason this game is close through two periods. It's still 1-0, but he had made 22 saves on 23 shots to that point. And in the third period, San Jose would reward him. It's a power play marker as well. It's a cross-ice pass and in for Smith, Celebrini, and Toffoli with the assist at 11:57, because of course Celebrini's in on it, right? He has to be. So we end up going to overtime. 1-1 tie in Minnesota, San Jose, and the Sharks control early. And then at 2:41, Graf dekes around Gustafsson on a fast break. Nice play there by Colin Graf. The assist to Celebrini and Dickinson. So there's Macklin on the board twice. And your final score in this one is 2-1 in overtime for San Jose. So the chess magnet is on the board. It's not the last time we'll see a chess magnet tonight. Shots on net, 8-5 Minnesota in the first, 15-5 Minnesota in the second, 7-6 San Jose in the third, and San Jose had the only shot of overtime. That's all they needed. Final shots, 29-18 for Minnesota. Power plays, San Jose 1 for 3, Minnesota 1 for 4. The hits, 22-16 San Jose. Askarov, 28 saves on 29 shots. I'm surprised he wasn't one of the stars, to be honest. And Gustafsson, 16 saves on 18 shots at the other end. All right, let's go to board number 2. All right, 3 more games to go, starting with Anaheim and Colorado. And I'm just going to say this. This game, to me, lived up to all the hype that I threw on it. It was Dostal versus Wedgwood, and very early Colorado gets the lead. At 28 seconds, it's Lehkonen wiring one from the left circle. It was their first shot on net. It was a wicked one, too. The assist to McKinnon and Makar. Strong puck pressure by the Abs, but the Ducks did survive. I thought that first half of that period was all Colorado. Anaheim survives that. They fought back, and they would tie it at 18-16. During 4-on-4 play, Leo Carlsson buries one on a pass from behind the net by Trouba. Terry with the other assist. It's 1-1 after 1. Second period, Lacombe bumps Wedgwood. He ends up going off to the box for 2 minutes for goalie interference. Wedgwood would be okay. Then at 11:37, finally, Landeskog gets his first goal. It's his third first goal of the season. Landeskog from Nichushkin and Malinsky. This one counts. So he buries this one in close. I thought it was a strong game by both teams through 40 minutes. It's 2-1 Colorado, but again, I was impressed by the fact that Anaheim, they weren't star watching, they didn't get overwhelmed, and then we go to the third period. Lots of skill on display that third period. I cannot describe enough just how much back and forth play how much skill was on display in this game. Just impressive. Nichushkin wasn't on the Avs bench, but on a power play, Colorado would get the lead. Natchez buries one in close at 7:02. Lehkonen and McKinnon with the assists. So that makes it 3-1. Avs go right back to the power play. That one's killed off. Then a scary incident. Killorn takes a stick near the eye. They end up giving 2 minutes for Natchez on that, and Joel Quenneville was not happy. He wanted more. The thing is, if it was on a follow-through, it's not a penalty. So it's one of those things. So if they're arguing, because the announcers kept talking about a follow-through, and I'm like, if they're arguing it's a follow-through, it's not a penalty. So there's that. Anyways, whatever happens, it's fine. The power play gets killed off. It's not fine, obviously, if you're probably if you're an Anaheim fan. The goalie pull happens with 3:14 left, and at 17:39, Parker Kelly hits the empty net. McKinnon and Nelson with the assists. So it's a 4-1 win for Colorado, but I thought this was an excellent measuring stick kind of game for Anaheim to see against the best team in the West, how they measure up and what they need to work on. Your 3 stars are Wedgwood, McKinnon, and Lehkonen. Shots on net, 12 apiece in the first, 11-7 Colorado in the second, 17-13 Anaheim in the third. Both teams had 36 shots. Power plays, Anaheim 0 for 2, Colorado 1 for 4. The hits, 26-16 for Anaheim. Dostal, 32 saves on 35 shots. He had a very good night. Wedgwood had an excellent night, 35 saves on 36 shots. Not as protected from shots tonight as he has been in other Colorado games, which I think it attests to the skill level of the Ducks. So I didn't expect the Ducks to win this, but that was impressive, just how long they stayed in it. All right, next up, Winnipeg and Vancouver. Hellebuyck versus Demko. 4:57 in, Winnipeg opens the scoring. It's Taves tipping one in on a net feed on a turnover. I think it went in off his skate. It's only the second shot on net. Morrissey and Perfetti with the assists, but the Canucks would fight their way back at 10:21. It's Kiefer Sherwood again. He scores from Hughes, and then at 11:58, on a power play, DeBrusk wires one short side on a rush. Hughes and Pettersson with the assists. So Pettersson, I think, has a 3-game point streak. Quinn Hughes got some points tonight as well, so you're getting production from the top guys in Vancouver. However, on a power play, there's a turnover for Vancouver, and Morrissey makes him pay. He scores unassisted at 14:38, and then 15 seconds later, it's another deflected goal. Niederreiter with the goal from Lowry and Iafallo. Now, during the period, you could see Demko wasn't 100% right, and he kept testing out, looked like he was testing out groin muscles to see if he was, loose enough for this. He did not come back out for the second period. I don't think he was ready to come back tonight. I think it was a mistake for him to play tonight. So Lankinen was in the net, and as I said, I don't think Demko was 100%. Hughes then exits as he took a hooking penalty. It looked like he injured his arm. Quinn would then return, so the fans had something to cheer about there, even though it's still 3-2 in favor of Winnipeg. And Hayden Fleury wasn't on the Jets bench either, so there's a lot of wounded going around in the NHL right now, but it stays 3-2 Winnipeg after 2. Third period, 48 seconds in. Power play goal. It's a backhand over Lankinen's shoulder by Velarde. The assist to Connor and Morrissey. Then there was a review for whether or not the Canucks had scored a goal, but no, the puck landed on the line. It did not completely cross the line. There wasn't an angle that showed it completely in the net, so there's no goal there. The early goalie pull happens when they're down by 2, and the Canucks do score to make this a little closer at 18:30. Besser roofs a rebound. Pettersson and Hughes with the assist, so Pettersson had a couple of helpers tonight. Canucks call a timeout. Whatever they discuss doesn't work. At 19:13, Iafallo hits the empty net from Niederreiter and Stanley, and that makes the final score 5-3 for the Winnipeg Jets. Your 3 stars are Morrissey, Hughes, and Hellebuyck. Shots on net, 12-8 Vancouver in the first, 13-10 Winnipeg in the second, 11-9 Vancouver in the third. Final shots, 33-30 for the Canucks. Power plays, Winnipeg 2 for 4, Vancouver 1 for 2. The hits, 19-12 for Vancouver. Hellebuyck saved 30 out of 33. Demko saved 5 out of 8. And then Lankinen saved 20 out of 21 in relief. So at least Lankinen had a good game. The sad thing being, because he allowed the 4th goal, he takes the loss in the game. So that does happen. And anyways, let's go ahead and move along to the last night of the game, shall we? And then we'll talk about the standings. So Columbus and the Seattle Kraken. Greaves versus Murray in this. 5 minutes in, we didn't have a shot on net. I was starting to think we're not going to get shots on net. Then at 16:43, as the shots started to roll in, Winterton buries one on a one-timer from the left circle. Myers and Alexiak with the assists. It's 1-0 Seattle after one. Second period, we get 1:07 of 5-on-3 for Columbus. That's too much, and they score on it at 18:22. So late in the second period, they tie it. Fantilli scores from Marchenko and Monahan. Then everything gets pushy with 25.7 seconds left during the Columbus power play. Columbus ends up coming out of that with the only penalty. So that makes it 4-on-4. And then there's a power play for Seattle to start the third. It's 1-1 after the second. That power play is killed off to start the third period. And then late in the game, 2:15 left, Eberle's absolutely robbed on a net drive. And then Seattle goes to their 8th overtime already early in the season. So a lot of overtime games for the Seattle Kraken. They're piling up points. So we go to overtime. The Kraken controlled early. Sillinger has a net drive chance that's saved. Chinikov has a rush chance that's saved as well. Eberle has a wrister that's kicked aside. Fantilli couldn't bury one on a net drive. Overtime solves nothing. We go to the shootout. The first 3 rounds solve nothing. And in the 4th round, Coyle solves it. He gets the shootout winner. Columbus ekes out a 2-1 shootout victory in Seattle. So the chess magnet's on the board for 3 goals or less in a game. Second time we've had a chess magnet tonight. Your 3 stars are Coyle, Murray, and Winterton. I've been saying it lately. I'll say it again. Scoring seems to be coming down a little bit in the NHL right now. Shots on net, 11-9 Columbus in the first, 11-8 Columbus in the second, 11-5 Columbus in the third. Both teams are credited with 1 shot in the overtime. I don't know. Anyways, final shots, 34-25 in favor of Columbus. Power plays, the Blue Jackets 1 for 4, Seattle 0 for 2. The hits, 15-9 Columbus, so not an overly physical game. Greaves saves 22 out of 23. Murray, excellent game for Matt Murray, 33 saves on 34 shots. He may take a shootout loss, but I think Matt Murray's shown he's probably a little better than what he's been credited with over the last couple of years, where he's been toiling in the AHL. That being said, let's take a look at the standings. All right, there's been movement. So Colorado, still, they've got Thor's hammer. They're going to be number 1 in the league for a while. The bad news, of course, being teams that finish first don't win in the playoffs. So that's the bad news. But we're only 17 games in the regular season, so it's fine. 11-1-5 record now for Colorado, 27 points. Yes, they're first in the power rankings tonight. I don't do power rankings on Tuesday, but right now in my power rankings, they're number 1. Dallas, 10-4-3, 23 points in 17 games. Winnipeg moves back into third place with a 10-6 record, 20 points in 16 games. The Pacific is all turned upside down. Anaheim, 11-4-1, 23 points in 16 games. Even with the loss tonight, they're still 3 points clear of the Kings. Kings are 8-5-4, 20 points in 17 games. Seattle's third with a record of 7-4-5, 19 points in 17 games. So this is where it's tricky with Seattle. They've only won 7 out of 17 games, but they have 19 points in 17 games. So it just leaves everything kind of weird. Chicago, 8-5-3, 19 points in 16 games. Still, your first wild card. San Jose is above the playoff line. I'm just going to let that marinate a little bit. San Jose's above the playoff line. 8-6-3 record, 19 points in 17 games. I don't think we're going to have another season where San Jose's, are they going to get to 20 wins? Are they not? I think 20 wins is easy. I think 30 wins is likely. I think this team could surprise a lot of people. Vegas is below the playoff line. I'm surprised too. 7-4-4, 18 points in 15 games. Of course, they've got games in hand on the teams that they're chasing. Utah, 9-7, 18 points in 16 games, are below the playoff line, as are the Oilers, 7-6-4, 18 points in 17 games. Minnesota, now 7-7-4, 18 points in 18 games. The Canucks, 1 game below NHL 500, 8-9-1, 17 points in 18 games. With the win tonight, St. Louis passes Nashville, 6-8-3, 15 points in 17 games. Nashville, 5-9-4, 14 points in 18 games. The Flames' record keeps getting worse, 4-12-2, 10 points in 18 games. They're the front runners for Gavin McKenna right now. I think Gavin McKenna in a Flames jersey makes a lot of sense. In the Atlantic, Montreal's still first, but they have a team tied with them now. 10-4-2 record, 22 points in 16 games. Boston's tied for first. I don't know what this season is. 11-7 record, 22 points in 18 games. I don't know how Marco Sturm's doing it. If you look at that Boston roster, they're not a supremely talented team, but they're finding ways to get victories. Ottawa stays third, 8-5-4, 20 points in 17 games. New Jersey still first, 11-4-1, 23 points in 16 games because Carolina loses tonight. They're 11-5, 22 points in 16 games. Pittsburgh didn't play, 9-5-3, 21 points in 17 games. We'll see them on Friday in the Global Series against Nashville. Tampa's still the number one wild card, 8-5-2. Same record as Philly, 8-5-2. Both of them 17 points in 15 games. The Islanders, the top team below the playoff line, 8-6-2, 16 points or 18 points in 16 games. Detroit, 18 points in 16 games, record of 9-7. The Rangers, 8-7-2, 18 points in 17 games. And then Washington, 8-7-1 record, 17 points in 16 games. The same record as Florida, same record as Columbus. And then you have Toronto, 8-1, 17 points in 17 games. Toronto had this figured out, and then they lost their last 3 games. It looked like Toronto had started figuring things out. I was like, all right, Toronto's come through this rough patch, and now they're back in the brambles. They are down near the bottom. They're only 3 points clear of... Now, they're not the only one 3 points clear, but they don't have games in hand on anybody, have them. They've played more games than teams they're chasing, and they're only ahead of Buffalo in the East. Buffalo still 5-6-4, 14 points in 15 games. So I didn't think Toronto would be second to last in the conference. If I had stated that before the season started, there would have been a lot of people saying, I can't believe how much he hates Toronto. And that's the only way I would have been able to have them that low in the standings. These standings are kind of sort of bonkers, and I'm kind of here for it. I think it makes the NHL more interesting to have different teams in the playoffs. As I've said recently, when you're not getting trades, you're not seeing players moving from one location to another. Things are kind of samey. It is nice to see different teams above the playoff line, so at least that's changed. And it does mean that there's some more interesting matchups to come. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below as always. Hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. It's greatly appreciated. I will talk to you again soon.